Good evening, adventurers, and welcome back to the maze. I am the master of mazes, and with me, as always, is the apprentice, my son Steven.
Howdy, howdy.
This is MazeCast episode 24. It's been about 8 or 9 days since our last one. We apologize, but life it gets in the way when what you're trying to do is make plans.
Hmm.
But here we are. We will try to keep on schedule moving forward. But speaking of life getting in the way, let's talk about our games. Kingdom of Keshnar was supposed to have played this past Friday. The What was that? That was the 27th, and I'm
Hmm.
sorry, it was the 24th. Did not get to play because my wife was unfortunately called out of town. We were going to try to play this coming Friday, the 3rd. Unfortunately, my wife is still out of town. So that's been pushed back now to Friday the 10th. But we do have the recaps from our last session up if you guys want to take a look at that, along with some photos of some gameplay and all. So head on over there if you haven't, and that'll give you a chance to get caught up before our next episode. The Master and Apprentice game is still going strong. We played last Saturday and we had a great time. Our recap is up. Stephen was kind enough to write that again from the perspective of his character Baldur the Rogue. It's a pretty good read, so give it a read. Let us know what you think. Our next session is this coming Saturday, the 4th,
Hmm.
where we will be playing again. We play about 3.5 hours every night, so we're having a great time with it. So check out the recap, and then you can catch up with what's going on there. They made their trip up to Icewind Dale. They found the lost heir to the Neverwinter throne, and are they've made their way back to Neverwinter. So some pretty exciting stuff, some travel stuff, but a lot of fun was had too. So
Hmm.
they're really going to get into the thick of it now. So check that out. The Order of the Flagon, we were finally able to get everybody in sync, and our next game for that is going to be on Monday, April the 11th. So we do have our recap up over on the website for you guys to check out on where the players are right now. We're just about ready to wrap up that first short dungeon that they were into, and then we'll see where their adventures take them from there. So give that a read and let us know what you think. We would like to give a shout out to our sponsor,
Yep.
W Energy, who we have not given a shout out to in a few episodes. Shame on us.
Yep.
We appreciate their patronage, their support, and we will have a link down in the show notes. We have a link in all of our socials for you guys to check them out. If you'd
Hmm.
like to, you can use our link to get a discount off the product over there. It's great stuff. I love it personally.
Yeah.
I like it better than the standard energy drinks like Monster and stuff. I
Yeah.
feel like it doesn't have that nasty aftertaste,
It
and
doesn't have the crash after.
it
It's
really
no
doesn't.
no dyes, no. It's all natural. So there's not any of that. Like I won't lie. I love a white monster just like everybody else, but there's that inevitable like couple hours after you just
Crash.
feel like crap.
Yep.
W doesn't have any of that stuff. I was drinking it before we were sponsored, and then we just happened to get sponsored. So it's not like I'm not trying to shill or anything. Um,
Yeah. You don't get a paid sponsorship here.
no,
Just
no,
just
not at all. I mean,
yeah.
it's literally just them. We get like a tiny little discount for us, and then for you guys, and then basically that's it. I would have one right now, but it's a little late, so I'm not drinking one right now. But yeah, check them out. They've been great. They've been super kind to us, and their flavors are awesome. So just jump on the website. Basically, zero risk there. Just try it out. I think they even have a money back guarantee. So
They do.
absolutely no
They
risk
do.
there.
If you don't like it, return the unused product. So
Yep.
all right, well, let's jump into some TTRPG news. A couple things here that were kind of exciting, and some that are a little disappointing, but not really. It wasn't surprising. The first thing is the Forgotten Realms Guide to the Dalelands, the first in a series of 4 books that are being put out by Ed Greenwood and Friends, where he is going to give us some more in-depth information, up-to-date information that will be current with the current timeline for the Forgotten Realms. The first one is the Guide to the Dalelands. The cover for that book has been revealed, the official cover. That picture's popping up right now for you guys to take a look at.
Shabam.
Uh, it's great. It's a great looking cover. I like the art. There's a lot going on in that cover to kind of pick apart.
Mm-hmm.
So, kind of interested to see where they go with that. But that book was due out by the end of first quarter this year. And surprisingly, with Gary Kahn coming gone and no announcement of the release of the book, we kind of figured that the Q1 timeline for the drop of that book was going to probably not happen. It was announced on April 1st. Unfortunately, it was not an April Fool's joke. That the book is delayed. They said now that it's been pushed back to quarter 2 of this year. They didn't say when. That kind of leaves me scratching my head a little bit because my understanding was these books were supposed to come out one per quarter throughout the year this year. So if they push back book one, probably, I would think it's probably safe to assume that the rest of the books will probably be a little delayed as well. So I'm thinking that will probably stretch out into quarter one, maybe even quarter two of next year. But I'm excited to get them. I
Hmm.
love some Ed Greenwood stuff, and his passion for the realms comes out in everything he writes. So
I love
I'll have a
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
go that.
I love the cover, and we'll have, like Dad said, you'll see the photo, but it just seems like a book that was written, in the '80s and '90s. Like it looks like the same style. It
Right.
does, it doesn't look like they kind of just washed over it with like modern styling. It looks like an old book, and that makes me hopeful. I
It
mean,
does.
obviously with Ed Greenwood attached, I feel like he's gonna make sure of that. But just to see it, like the official release cover, I'm excited for
Hmm.
this book. So
I am too. I'm excited to get it because anything Forgotten Realms, I am a sucker for Forgotten Realms. Anybody who has listened to this podcast knows I am a huge proponent, huge fan of the Forgotten Realms. That has been my playground now since it came out in the early 90s.
hmm
It's my preferred game setting. So that's where two of my three campaigns are taking
yeah, I was
place
about to
in
say
right
you're
now.
kind
Is
of
the
making
Forgotten
me
Realms.
a sucker for it too. So.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I mean, it's a very well fleshed out, lore rich world.
Yeah,
So
it's so
uh,
cozy, right? It just feels like I've said this before. It feels like your favorite pair of shoes. You put it on and it's like,
it's
okay, like you
comfortable.
know
It
exactly what you're gonna
lives.
get. There is surprises, but at the same time, it's like a cozy setting that you kind of understand. So
Yeah, 100%. We'll have the link for that announcement and the cover
hmm
picture for the book art in the show notes down below if you guys want to check that out.
yep.
Also announced at Gary Con was the fact, and we talked about this last episode, that Luke Gygax and Dan Ayub had a press conference where they were talking about the fact that we're going to bring the Gygax name back in house over at WotC and get a Gygax name on a book. So Luke is going to be writing Melf's Guide to Greyhawk. I believe that's the working title. I don't know if it's the final title or not. But everybody who knows Luke knows that Melf was his character growing up playing with his dad as the dungeon master. And that cover art is popping up right here. That is cover art by Mr. Jeff Easley. Everybody knows Jeff if you are a fan of D&D art at all. And I think the cover looks great. I hope that that is the final cover for the book because I actually like it. So,
Yeah, I'm gonna be a
we,
broken record here, but this art is also like looks like retro art. I mean,
yeah,
and not I'm not trying to talk down about modern D&D art. I mean, there's a lot of great art out there, but it
mhm,
all kind of feels the same, if you know what I mean.
yeah,
Like if and this feels like when I would,
consistent. It feels
well, like
consistent.
it's just like a timeless style that this
Mhm,
older art style is. It reminds
yeah,
me of being a kid, looking at my dad's bookshelf and seeing this art, and that's what got me into this and Lord of the
yeah,
Rings and all. It was this art. It
yeah.
wasn't,
Well,
it
when
wasn't
you were
all of the old, the new art that's just kind of all looks the same.
right, well, when you were coming up, I mean, the art that was in the house was Larry Elmore, Jeff
Yeah.
Easley, Todd Caldwell, Brom, all those guys. I mean, all the classic D&D artists. Those were the Earl Otis. I mean, those are the
hmm
ones that you grew up seeing on my shelf, on my books, on my box sets.
hmm
Um, for us, again, it feels familiar, it feels comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, to me, it says Forgotten Realms. I mean, obviously, the Greyhawk book doesn't, but it has that same feel.
It's
So
still like
I'm
a
pretty
call. It's like
excited
a
about it.
callback. It's like it's seeing
Yeah.
like an old friend again, and
I
that's
haven't
pretty nice.
I haven't played in the Greyhawk setting in 30 years, and I still have my Greyhawks box set setting on the shelf, and it probably hasn't been opened in 20 years. But I'm definitely going to pick up this book when it comes out because I would like to get back into Greyhawk.
hmm
I think Greyhawk is definitely a great setting. I had a lot of fun in it playing when I first got into it back in the 80s. So be on the lookout for that. We'll have a link for the show notes for you guys to take a look at that article as well. But let's talk about some TV and pop culture news. Anybody who is a fan of martial arts, a fan of the Lee family name, uh, the 31st was the anniversary, the 33rd anniversary of the passing of Brandon Lee, the
hmm
son of Bruce Lee. We all know he died while filming the movie The Crow, one of my favorite movies, one of my favorite graphic novels
Yeah.
by Obar. But we just wanted to say, rest in peace, Brandon. You are missed, but not forgotten.
Yeah,
So,
that movie is excellent. To me, I think about that movie and Spawn a lot when I think of like anti-hero, kind of darker,
yeah,
grittier, comic book movies. I love
Yeah.
Spawn. I grew up with Spawn, but The Crow is a fantastic movie.
And
Like, you know.
and I know they've tried to make success. They've tried to cash in on that franchise and
Hmm.
try to bring other Crow movies in. I checked out the Crow 2, City of Angels, and the third Crow. Didn't care for them very much. I did like the Crow series with Michael Dukakis in it.
Hmm.
That was great. I thought the series was great. Of course, it picked up with the same character in the same setting, um, taking place shortly after the movie. But I thought it was a great series. It's a shame it didn't get picked up past season one. But if you haven't checked that out, look that up. That's a good series to
Just
check
don't
out.
watch the remake that came out a few years ago with Bill Skarsgård in it. It was
Yeah,
absolutely dreadful. Don't watch it.
we're not going to talk about that movie at all. It never
It
happened.
was miserable.
Forget it.
I
These are
wish.
not the joys you're looking
I
for.
wish, bro.
Let's talk about some Baldur's Gate TV show news.
Hmm.
Basically, here this week, HBO boss Casey Boyce came on and said that obviously because of Mason's involvement with the Last of Us season three, which is going to wrap up that series on HBO, since Mason is going to actually be in charge of the Baldur's Gate television show, HBO is tasking him with kind of staying on task with the Last of Us season three, seeing that through to completion before anything starts on Baldur's Gate three.
Hmm.
Sorry, the Baldur's Gate television show. So with basically with filming just starting in the midpoint of March for The Last of Us, and I think the show is not even set to air until sometime second quarter of 2027.
Next summer is what
That
I
leads
hear.
me, yeah, that leads me to believe that probably summer or fall next year will be before they actually start doing casting. Well, I think they're going to have casting in place, but I don't think they'll have anything written done as far as shooting until probably late next year, which I'm guessing will probably put the Baldur's Gate television show out in 2028. So,
Hmm.
um, just we'll have a link for the news for you guys. Check that article out if you're interested. But we will keep you up to date on any news that we hear
Hmm.
on the Baldur's Gate television show because we are definitely excited for it. So we'll be on the
Oh yeah,
lookout
I
for it.
mean it has all the potential to be a Game of Thrones level show if they do it right.
Absolutely,
So
yeah,
I'm really curious to see when they start talking about filming and who's involved with it outside of like the major names. To
right.
see like I'd love to see some Larian people involved, and I know
Mm-hmm.
they've moved on back to their Divinity IP because
Right.
WotC did away with them for Baldur's Gate 4.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love. I mean, they're the reason that three and the characters in three and the people. They're the reason that this show is hyped as it is now, and they're
Right.
why no one would have cared about this show except for us. Like the casual audience is excited about this show because of Baldur's Gate 3. So
Right.
maybe loop in some of the people that made Baldur's Gate 3 so special. That's all I'm saying.
I
I
would
mean,
think that I think that would be a great idea to bring some of their creative team in for maybe the writing,
yeah.
maybe for creative consultation. I'm curious to see where they plan on doing shooting at. Are they going to be doing it on a back lot somewhere? Are they going to do, or is HBO going to give them the budget to go like on site to like actual ruins and
Well, I
stuff?
hope they do
It's,
because you know
I hope
Larian
so.
did their press conferences. They rented castles and did press conferences in full knight armor in castles, and they're that at
I
the time
think that would be
they
awesome.
were a small studio. I mean now they're not, but at the time they weren't as big as nearly as big as they are now. So
Right.
I just really hope like they involve those people, not just them, but like giant subject matter experts for the realms, the Forgotten Realms, and D&D in general. So
And if sets from like the Game of Thrones and stuff still exist, I could see HBO repurposing
oh
some of
yeah,
those.
yeah. There's I mean
And
weapons and armor. I
that
mean
would be a
there's
no
tons of
brainer.
stuff.
I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
you've already paid for the stuff, just bring it over, maybe polish it up, change it a
just
little bit,
just
and
make it interesting, man. Like I'm so sick of like Game of Thrones. Anything being season one is great, and then like the next
it
season
goes
is just a
downhill from there.
snoozer. I will say Night of the Seven Kingdoms is incredible.
It's
Um,
incredible.
so but that's only season one. Like who knows? Season two might come out and it's a
Yeah.
snoozer. I don't know. But
My fingers are crossed that it won't be.
it's been
But
great so
anyway,
far.
we're going down a rabbit hole.
Yep.
So, let's talk about another announcement made at GaryCon. A little book coming out. Maybe you've heard of it called War Wizard.
Mm-hmm.
That is going to be a new official Dragonlance title, and it will be book one of what is going to be a trilogy, we're told, by Margaret Wise and Tracy Hickman. Um, I am super excited to see the two of them back together to write a book. I am super excited that they're going to be back in the world of Kryn because if one of the first novels I ever read was Dragons of Autumn Twilight. I love that book. There's Stephen's got a couple of them right there. I am super excited about that book. I am super excited for a new trilogy. When they mentioned that it was going to have a young Huma, Knight of Solamnia, in it, I was super excited. So I am stoked for this book to come out, and I will be picking up a copy. I know it's going to be a big one, and it's supposed to be hardback. But I do not care. 352-page book, I'm down.
Mm-hmm.
Hardback, I don't care. I'll buy it, and I will gladly read it and pick up all the other books that come out in that series because Krynn is one of the worlds that I love as a setting. Second only in my heart to the Forgotten Realms, but can't find many people who want to play in the world of Krynn. So that's unfortunate. But
Once
anyway,
again, the art is kind of...
It's showing up right here.
It will. And it's like old school. It just looks good. You know what I mean? Like it just...
looks great.
When you think of fantasy, when you think of D&D in general, you think of this. Like this is the art, this is the style that you're thinking of. At least me. 100%. I mean, my whole life, everyone I know.
100%. 100%. So we'll have a link to that down in the show notes for you guys to check out as well.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a shorter episode this week. We didn't have a lot to talk about. We didn't have a lot of time to plan like we normally do. But as part of our extra loot section, we would like to go over our TTRPG report card.
The report card.
Talked about that. Talked about that in episode 23.
Yep.
So quarter one is over. We're into April now, so we're now officially into quarter two. So we're going to give our thoughts and impressions. These are just our thoughts and our impressions, and in no way, shape, or form official or have been sanctioned by the community in any way.
Yeah, this is just,
with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Take them with a grain of salt. If you disagree with us, please sound off in the comments. Let us know what you guys think.
Mm-hmm.
Hit us up on our webpage. You can email me directly if you'd like to cuss me out or tell me you agree with me. just engage.
Engage. This is the report card. This is stuff Dad and I are already doing. We're basically like, hey, how was this year for this game or that game? We talk about it anyway. This is a way for us, or for me, to kind of keep track of like, hey, last year we rated D&D or WotC at this because they missed the mark here and here, but this year they were this, and it just gives us talking points. It gives us like actual quantitative data that we can pull, and rather than me trying to remember. So, and this is the first quarter 2026. This is just for this year. I did do some research for last year, but this is really just kind of a snapshot of the first 3 months of the year. This is not us ranking one game versus another. I think I'll be the first to admit I love almost every game that I've played and that I've researched. I think D&D does a lot of things really well. I think Pathfinder does a lot of things really well. And Daggerheart has proven to do things really well. Those are the three games that we're focusing on right now. This might evolve and have more games. This might even evolve and include Magic the Gathering as a WotC, as a WotC IP, and that would be a separate grade.
Games, maybe some board games.
Yeah, I mean, this is just kind of this is like our first introductory run into it. But this is just stuff we've already been focusing on. So we're grading on basically 3 fundamental concepts. And most of it's going to be kind of Dad giving his, Dad knows better than I do, so he's going to kind of give his rundown on how he feels that each company has done. But our grading scale is just 1 to 5 stars, and the categories are consumer and community advocacy. So not just how consumer friendly, how wallet friendly these companies are, but also what are they doing to kind of pull new fans in? Are they taking care of their fan base? The next one is going to be content, which is not just quality but also quantity. Maybe somebody drops like an incredible source book one year, but that's all they drop. But if it's good enough, we'll probably give it pretty good stars. And then PR and marketing. This is how well does the company communicate with its fan base? How well are they seen by the fan base? Or in this case, mostly by us and the people that we talk to. And then we're going to give kind of an average score. Again, this is not us hating on anyone. We love all of these games. We talk about all of these companies, and without any of these companies, we wouldn't be here. So this is not a slander piece. This is not a hit piece on anybody. This is just kind of a fun thing for us to kind of say, hey, we wish this would have happened and it didn't. So first up is WotC D&D, because that's the one that we're most familiar with. Quarter 1, 2026, the releases, what's shipped quarter 1. No major flagship rulebooks at all quarter 1, which is not abnormal. But there was some what is considered lifestyle and support products. That is Dungeons & Dragons Crochet, a book of many patterns, came out yesterday. So right at the tail end of the quarter. And then player and DM workbooks have been announced for May, but they're not yet released. Obviously, the big release, or in air quotes release, in my opinion, is the roadmap. That's really the kind of only thing that seemed new that has
And
come out.
that was released pretty late in
And that
quarter
was
one.
a few weeks ago, and that's just a roadmap. So is that really content? That's up to you.
I wouldn't
Um,
consider it content. That to
well,
me
the
goes
the
more
first
towards like
release
a
doesn't come
PR.
out until June, and that's the end of quarter two. So that's the first one coming. So the biggest thing in the roadmap was a lot of D&D Beyond updates, onboarding, and surveys, which again, that is not this quarter.
Yeah.
So I guess in my if I'm giving it a grade, I would say maybe a 2.5 for content.
I would say a two for content. It seemed like the first quarter of this is just my opinion, but it
Mm-hmm.
seemed like the first quarter of this year, it was basically like a communication blackout from WotC. We didn't
Mm-hmm.
get a lot. People were asking, where's the roadmap? What's going on? What are the plans for 2026? And it just kind of seemed to fall on deaf ears. Now, obviously, there was some shift in upper management. I mean, with the departure of two top content creators, and their two people that were driving basically driving the ship, right?
Mm-hmm.
Left in third and fourth quarter of last year, and then basically Jill leaving, and then Dan Ayub taking over. There's been a big shift in the command structure, so I'll give them some grace for that. That a lot of parts were moving behind the scenes, but I would still say they could have said something. They
Yeah.
could have put something up. Hey, we're trying. There's a lot going on. We'll make an announcement by this date. And even Dan Ayub said at Gen Con in his talk with with people at Gen Con. I'm sorry, at Gary Con, not Gen Con, Gary Con. Dan mentioned, hey, we were bad with communication this year. We were terrible so far.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't let people know about the roadmap. We didn't let people know what was going on. And, the fans were honestly upset and rightfully so, wanting to know what's coming and when. So he has made a commitment that his people will communicate on a consistent, timely basis.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, you know, intentions are great. Let's see if they actually bear fruit. But I would say for me, I'd give them a two. I would
So,
give them a two.
and I think honestly, like looking at the categories, PR and marketing is the next one. I think we just hit that one on the head as well. I'd say that's probably a 1 to a 2.
I'd give them a two at best.
And honestly, before the roadmap, it was probably 1. But with the
Yeah,
roadmap, at least we have an idea of like what's
yeah,
coming. And then
yeah.
consumer and community advocacy. So what have they done? In your opinion, are they kind of are they acting as good stewards for not only you as a long term fan but new fans? What are they doing anything for the community right now outside of the roadmap? I think the roadmap again was a great step in the right direction.
Outside the roadmap's a step in the right direction. I think trying
The
to
the
kind
new
of revamp
surveys, the new surveys and
the
the
new
D and D Beyond
surveys, I
stuff.
think are a good idea and a good move in the right direction. Something they got away from, and I don't understand why, because the surveys were a great idea.
Hmm.
It let them kind of get an idea of what the pulse of the community was, so that
Right.
they could shift and kind of move to meet it or explain why they couldn't.
Hmm.
They got away from it. I think it's because they got blasted. I mean, let's
Yeah.
face it, people blasted them in the surveys prior,
Yep.
and unfortunately, when it comes to corporate structure, and I've worked in a corporate environment most of my life, unfortunately, corporations don't like to hear bad news. They
Yeah.
don't like bad feedback. They only want to focus on the good stuff. Everything else gets basically shoved under a rug because I don't want to go up to my boss and tell my boss, hey, I took this survey and everybody below my level thinks we suck.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that that's what WotC did. It just, I've seen it before. But if they do the consumers, if they do the community surveys, I think that's a great step in the right direction. I
Hmm.
think the roadmap coming out, even though it came out super late in quarter one,
Hmm.
that's a step in the right direction, just really late.
Yeah.
Um, if Dan Ayub is a man of his word
I
and
was.
keeps
Yeah.
to the promises he
Yeah.
made, definitely steps in the right direction.
Uh.
But that being said, all of that came late in quarter one
Right.
after much haranguing and much gnashing of teeth by the fan base.
Right.
So I would say I'd give them a 1.5,
Okay.
maybe a two at best, and that's just because I'm taking into consideration if they intend to keep their word. But
Yeah, I mean, consumer and community advocacy, I feel like on average is usually pretty bad for WotC, and that's not just D&D. That's kind of just corporation wide. Um,
well, yeah,
but I think the D&D revamps, the onboarding improvements, the roadmap, Dan Ayub kind of stepping up his game and being more vocal and visual, and like you can see him, like he's not hiding somewhere, like he's out and about and
right.
talking. I average, or I'm in there like 2-3 territory, so I'd say maybe 2 to kind of cut the difference between us.
Okay.
So, again, this is not a hit piece, but right now we have a 2-star in every category. That's a average of 2 out of 5 stars. So, and I can't wait for next quarter when all this great stuff happens and they all keep their word and
Yeah,
we can raise the stars.
and I will gladly do so. If they keep their word and they deliver on their promises,
Mhm.
I will grade them accordingly. So,
Yeah.
but we'll see.
So next up is Paizo, or Pathfinder Starfinder. If you're not familiar with
Yeah.
the name Paizo, I got familiar with Paizo actually because of the OGL scandal a few years ago. I've never even heard of Pathfinder outside of video games. And this was long before this project was even in our mind.
Yeah.
So Paizo kind of came into my brain as a hero, like a hero company that's coming in and trying to do
Yeah.
the right thing. So I've always had a
Right.
pretty good impression of Paizo anyway. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I think Pathfinder is pretty hard for new players to get into.
It's very crunchy.
But
It's a
let's
very
just go
crunchy
over
system.
what's shipped in quarter one. A lot. Monster
A
Core 2
lot.
came out in January.
Yep.
Draconic Codex came out in January. The Season of the Ghosts remastered hardcover came out in February.
Mm-hmm.
Hellbreaker's Adventure Path is out this month with a whole new
Yep.
quarterly AP format, which is just
Mm-hmm.
consistent content. Multiple
Mm-hmm.
Pathfinder Society scenarios, which are monthly, and
Mm-hmm.
the spring 2026 errata across all player, GM, and Guns and Gear Core just came out like what, last week or something. The
Yep. And
content is
their
insane.
roadmap was out in January.
Yeah, their
So
roadmap came out when roadmap should come out,
yep.
and
First part of the first month of the quarter. Yeah.
it is filled to the brim with content.
It
Whether you
really
play
is.
Pathfinder or not, the amount of content that they are putting out, not only consistently but also like have already put out and have planned for later this year, it's staggering.
Mm-hmm.
I'm right there with like a 4.5, maybe even a 5, is where I'm at with content.
I would say if we're going to just go with content, I'm giving them a 4.5. I
Four and a
mean,
half.
their artwork is always amazing.
I
Their
was gonna say,
books
so
are
you
always
you would agree that not just the quantity but the quality is also good.
the quality is good. I mean,
Okay.
I own most all the books. I
Hmm.
haven't bought anything content wise, book wise in a month or so. But I have a shelf full of Pathfinder books because I was in a group that was active up until about 6 months ago,
Hmm.
and we were playing a Pathfinder game a couple times a
I
month.
remember posting about it.
And
Yep.
yeah, and had a blast with it. And but that being said, it's a super crunchy system.
It is.
Their quick start rules, the box that they put out, it's a little clunky, but I mean they've got good intentions. It's just their system is it's very crunchy. It's
Yeah,
very rules
and
heavy.
not for nothing, they
And
are actively working on making their system less crunchy. I mean, they
yes,
are doing
yeah,
it. It's just
yes,
I've always liked. I mean, for people that play video games out there, you'll understand this right away. I mean, for me, D&D is like Diablo 4. It
yep,
is cheese pizza. It's good every time. You know
yep,
exactly is it like
yep,
groundbreakingly innovative? No, but it's good every
no,
time you play it. Whereas
yep,
Pathfinder's like, it's like a very niche pizza that like sometimes you're in the mood for, and when you're in the mood for it, it's the
yep,
only thing you want.
yep,
So and for gamers, it's like the whole Diablo 4 versus Path of Exile. Path of Exile is
oh
crunchy,
yeah,
it's hard, it's for veterans, it's for people that want to sit there and stare at the screen and do math for 3 hours. But the
yeah.
payoff is very, very high. Whereas Diablo 4 is you log into
Payoff
the
is super
game
high.
and you start smashing. So it's
Yep.
like neither one of them is wrong. It's just two different approaches to what with the
Two different
same goal.
approaches. I mean, let's call it what it is. Most of the people that started Paizo were people that either left
Disenfranchised.
TSR or left
Yeah,
WotC
yeah.
and went over and created their own company.
And I'm glad they
So
did.
they took some, yeah. So they took some of the same ideas, some of the same, visions,
Hmm.
and made their own company. I actually like, I actually like Paizo.
I like
I
them a
like
lot too.
Galarian. I like Galarian, the system where you play Pathfinder in. I love the character classes. I love the diversity of the character classes.
Hmm.
If you like diversity and subclasses and being able to drill down and basically optimize a character, Pathfinder is for you.
It is the
That is
thinking
game,
man's tabletop game. It is very
100%.
yeah.
A great game for what it is. If you think that you could optimize a character in D&D, buddy, buckle up. Grab a copy of Pathfinder, and you are going to be in hog heaven.
Yeah,
So,
shameless plug. Go check out our article on the website that I wrote with some help from Dad and also my friends, honestly, just from discussions. The subclass. It's a blog post about subclasses and why I think they're inherently flawed. I had a lot of fun with that article. I've been writing it for a while. It's got input from Dad, our buddy Josh, who's brand new to the game, even our friend Nathan. So go check that out. I had a really good time writing that. So next one for Paizo is consumer and community advocacy. Again, I have a really high opinion of them inside of the community, and they were at that convention we were at, handing out free swag. They were there. They were present. That's not the first time I've seen them very community friendly, or really even consumer friendly. Their prices are
and community facing, right? They're out there the community at small conventions.
Yep.
Putting in a presence.
Yep.
They're at Dragon Con every year. They have a booth. You know, they talk to people. Hey, would you like to sit down and learn to play this game?
Yep.
I was impressed with the fact that they had an entire ballroom rented out at GalaxyCon.
Yep.
And they had the table already pre-prepped. They had
ready to go.
Pre-made character sheets. They had quick start rules and cheat sheets for people to figure out how to play and use the rules and what you could do when.
Yep.
So I would give them a 5 for
a 5. Okay.
Engagement. I'm giving them a 5. I mean, because they
Yeah.
They are what, to me, in my mind, a game company should be.
Sure.
They're very much in touch with the community. They are active on their boards and their discords. They are active at conventions, and they are very much upfront, and they're very open about taking community feedback and incorporating it into a game.
I also feel like they don't really price gouge much. I mean, like when their stuff comes out, I feel like it's pretty like it's fairly priced.
I mean, the manufacturer suggested retail price is pretty much in line with other books.
It's about the same.
I will say the quality of the books, in my mind, that the paper quality is a little bit better. The colors are a little brighter.
Well, with some other games,
I think their books are better looking, and they normally have more page content.
Well, like with some other games, it's like the core book will come out, and then like I love The World of Darkness, Vampire the Masquerade, Hunter the Reckoning. I love those books. I love that universe. I think it's actually underrated. I think it's way cooler than most people give it credit for. However, if they were on this list, their consumer advocacy sucks because you have to buy the core book, and then there's like 7 other books for each clan. Each clan has its own book.
Has its own information.
And it's like, dude, just give me the player book. Like, just give me the player's book. Even if it's 500 pages, just give it to me. Give it to me.
So that you can include all the content. I'll pay you $80 for it.
Just give it to me. It's so annoying. I hate it.
In one place.
I hate it. That drives me crazy. All right, and then next is Paizo, PR and marketing. Again, I think they score high marks. So I'm at 4 and a half.
4, and the only reason I won't go higher than a 4 is I don't think their budget is allocated towards a big marketing push. But I will say that they do have a lot of great marketing for what they do have the budget for, and I think my hat's off to them. I give them a 4.
Yeah, I mean, so that puts us right at like a 4.5 total for Paizo.
Aggregate score.
So that's a good score for them.
Paizo to me is what every gaming company should be.
Yeah.
I mean, they're in touch with their community, and they hear what their community is saying, and they respond. So.
Yeah, to me, they're like the perfect baby face in wrestling, right? Like they're just like this like perfect character. Yeah, and it's like what are they gonna do? Are they gonna hit me in the back of the head with a chair at SummerSlam? So next up is Darrington Press, the new kid on the block here.
I mean, I have been wanting to say, and I'll eat my words a little bit. I like the game. I like the storytelling aspect of it. I personally, as a DM, like putting back on a character. You walk in a room, give them a brief description. You tell me what your character sees. Have them kind of add to that story.
That's cool.
I love that piece.
Yeah, I do too.
I would say. So, what do you want to go with first?
Just a quick run through. Obviously, they're new to the scene, so I'm not. It's pretty front loaded as far as what's come out because the core set came out. Into last year, So that's one thing I will say. In my opinion, the quality the quality might be higher than either of the other two in terms of just
Oh
the
yeah,
art style.
I would say quality wise, yeah, I'm giving them a 5 for
And
what they put
and
out so far. 5.
yeah, and like so quality 5, quantity again, what's come out? The core set, it
Of
ran
course,
out. They blew through the core set. They had major
yeah.
retail
I don't
shortages.
think that they knew. I
How
don't think they
big?
took into consideration how many critters were going to buy
Mm-hmm.
this book. I don't think they took into consideration how many people were hungry
Yeah.
for a new story or narrative driven TTRPG.
Yeah.
And I think, well, I mean, you know what? If you're going to air, I'd rather air and come up short and sell out than to have a bunch of
Oh,
books
dude,
sitting
I
on the
mean,
shelf.
they blew through it and had to get basically go in emergency mode and get more done. The next thing slated right now, there's tons of third party content, and we're gonna
Yeah.
try to not dip into that because that is gonna
And
be way too
With
hard.
Chris Perkins helming that ship now, buddy, everybody else better buckle up because it's going to get competitive real
Yeah,
quick.
and this report card is gonna be solely like original content from the publisher and the company because I don't want if I was to go into like third party content it'd be too hard. Um,
Yeah. I
but
would say, to be fair, I mean, the book came out last year.
it did come out at the so it
So
came out last year. So that's what I'm saying is like I'm gonna kind of break the
I'd give them a
middle.
3 for content
So like we'll call it
because,
like a 4 total for like quality and quantity
yeah,
for
I'd
like
say 4
content.
total
I call it like a
because,
4.
yeah, they came in strong at the end of last year. I
Right.
think it caught them off guard, and they've been focused on trying to get books out for
Right.
the
Right.
core set rather than trying to move on to new content.
So
Again, just like I gave Watsy a little grace, I want to give Darrington Press a little
yep.
grace.
Yep.
They had a monumental shift with content creators and stuff too.
Yep.
So I'll give them grace and say a 3, give them a 4 average.
I'll
So
give them a
yeah,
four
I think a
average
4 is
because the
very
quality is
comfortable.
incredible and the quantity
It
and
is.
like maybe they had some issues, so I'll break even at a 4. The next release that came out is the VTT integration with Fantasy Grounds, which I actually just got on my Steam account. It is Steam enabled, which is incredible.
Yep.
Because that means it's not going to run like garbage, and I'm not going to point any fingers about which VTT platform I'm talking about, but it's not going to run like
Which
garbage.
one? Sure.
Um, so they have that coming on the horizon. There's continued class playtest community tools coming out by the official channel. Tons of people are hyped for the next big one, which is going to be next quarter, Hope and Fear expansion. That is a
Yep.
big expansion that's going to include werewolves, vampires, and everything I love. So
Yeah.
next
Horror
quarter,
based stuff. Always got me with horror based stuff.
yeah, I expect to come back to this report card quarter 2 and give this a freaking 300 out of 5 stars. So I'm really
Yeah.
excited about that. So we'll break
Yeah.
even at 4 stars for content. What about
Yeah.
consumer and community advocacy for Darrington Press?
I'm going to give them a 4.5
I
because
agree.
they've been very forthright. They have made consistent announcements. They have been very open and transparent. Hey, we're really low on books because
Yeah.
we weren't expecting this kind of an outpouring of support. So, we're not going to tell you we're going to have books on the shelves by the end of the month. It may take us a quarter to get
Hmm.
caught up. And they were honest about it. And I got to give them credit. They didn't sell me something telling me, hey, in 2 weeks it'll be on the shelf. And
Yeah.
I had to wait 2 months. I mean, I personally could not find a copy anywhere online. I
It
could
was
not find a
hard.
copy anywhere in a store. I had to go to one of my local game shops, group called Level Up Games
Hmm.
here in Johns Creek, not too far from me. And I talked to the owner and I said, look, I said, this is what I'm looking for. And he's like, well, I can give you a call. He said, give me your card. I gave him one of my MazeCast business cards. And I said, give me a call when it comes in. And he called me and said, they're supposed to be here by UPS on Monday. He
Mm-hmm.
says, I can hold one for you to the end of business Monday. And
Mm-hmm.
he called me Monday and said, they're here. I went down Monday right after work, picked it up.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you know what? I think it was a great looking book. I was super impressed with the quality. I'm super impressed with their communication. So, as far as, consumer advocacy
Mm-hmm.
and community outreach, I would say I'd give them a 4.5.
So you say for PR and marketing, 4.5 as well?
4.5 as well for PR and marketing because I mean, I think that they have learned from Watsy's mistakes. I think they have learned from coming from the player side of things and
Mm-hmm.
then starting their own business, making their own game. I think that they know as players what it's like to be in that kind of communication blackout, and they don't want to. They don't want to put their players through that. They don't want to put the people, the end user, their consumers, the people that are keeping them in business, they don't want to keep them hanging on the hook.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think some companies take advantage of the fact, hey, we are the world's most popular tabletop role playing game, and you know, they kind of they kind of rest on their laurels and they don't take the community as seriously as they could. I think that's a mistake because we've talked about on this podcast that there is a ton, an actual shit ton
Mm-hmm.
of games coming out. Check if you don't believe me, check BackerKit, check check Kickstarter, any of those. There are brand new TTRPGs coming out every single week. Some of them I'm super excited about.
Well, I mean, also like you got these just absolute demons of these indie games like Blades in the Dark that people they go to that game, they don't come back.
Blades
I
in the
mean,
Dark, board.
yeah.
Our buddy over at OotF. I mean, these things are amazing games, and it's like I could walk away from D&D tomorrow. I'd hate to because I've spent most of my life playing it, but if I had to, there's a half a dozen other games I could go to and have just as much fun with.
Yeah, I mean, Forgotten Realms is always going to be kind of home, but I mean, that doesn't mean that you have to kind of eat a shit sandwich forever. But you know, to play devil's advocate, D&D's been doing it longer than anybody. You know, WotC's been doing it longer than you know. That setting has been out forever. They're the ones that kind of blazed the trail, and they're the ones that made the mistakes. And these other companies could kind of sit on the sidelines and watch that happen and learn. Oh, let me not do that. So
I mean, that's how you don't repeat the mistakes of your adversaries, right?
and true,
Watch
true.
what they do. Watch what they do wrong. Watch what they do right.
Mm-hmm.
Watch how the community reacts, and then just don't make the same mistakes.
Yeah, so I mean, you know, I'm just trying to give a little bit of grace back to WotC here because they made a lot of mistakes so that other companies could see and learn from it. It's just really now, it's like, can WotC then, can they see their own mistakes and can they correct the ship and can Paizo and Darrington Press continue to remember the lesson?
Dan Ayub is talking a great game. I'm hoping that the people like Chris Cox and stuff, who are the heads of Hasbro, will stay the hell out of his way. He's in charge of WotC.
Yeah.
Let him run WotC. He seems to have his head screwed on straight.
Yeah.
Let him do things his way. And they sit here and say they want D&D to be $1 billion brand. Billion with a B. The only way you're going to do that is take somebody like Dan, give him the free reign to do the things he thinks needs to be done to right the ship, and just let him write the damn shit.
I mean, it's weird because like I feel like the last, let's call it 5-10 years, I've noticed a very tangible shift into trying to get a younger demographic into D&D. All this like cozy, like, oh, let's make it a cozy thing, and let's have all these cute little cuddly characters. Listen, dude, I love Redwall. I'm into cute cuddly characters too, okay? But at the same time, you cannot completely abandon your like biggest target audience that you've had since your inception of your business to go after this new set of fan. And then when they don't come to your game because Daggerheart exists or because Hawthorne exists or some other cuddly game that does cuddly better than you do, well, now you have nobody because you basically sold your fans down the river to try to get new fans, and now you have nobody. So I like the shift.
Let's face it. They know that that's the case.
Yeah, of course.
At least Dan Ayub is man enough to admit it.
Yeah.
He's reached out to the Gygax family to breach that, to bridge that gap.
Yep.
Repair that bridge and bury the hatchet with the Gygax family, which is long overdue in my opinion.
True.
He has admitted that they've done things wrong and he wants to fix them. Well, fix them. And you know what? If you fix them, I'll give you credit where credit is due.
I mean, I'll give you support. I am a Dan fan. I mean, I think you're not going to do the things that Daggerheart does better than Daggerheart's doing them. You're not going to do the things that Paizo is doing. Just do what Dungeons and Dragons used to do. Everybody likes classic sword and board fantasy, Conan the Barbarian, D&D. That's what people are here for. Stop doing other things.
Yeah, if you want to make a Redwall type game,
do it.
Then make a separate game. WotC can have another brand. See if you can get the Redwall name. If you can, make a Redwall TTRPG.
I'd play that the day it came out. I mean, also like not for nothing. Paizo, we scored Paizo just a quick aggregate grade rundown here. WotC a 2, Paizo a 4.5, and Darrington Press just under a 4.5 for their aggregate grades. That's also while Paizo is running 2 games. They're running Starfinder and Pathfinder. And they're releasing content for both.
Turning out content
for both. Both of them have their own content channels, their own roadmaps, their own I mean, they are not you know, and like all we get from WotC is a roadmap that doesn't start until the end of quarter two.
End of
I mean,
quarter
like,
two, yeah.
come on, man. Like, but anyway, in
Well,
Dan we trust.
there's been, again, I'll give them some grace. There's been a big shift over there, not only in the
There
community
has
structure,
in
but there
recent.
has been a big shift. They let a lot of people go,
Yep.
so they had to hire a lot of people to come back in for their content creation and
I
to start doing game design and things like that. So
yeah, and like we said
that
before,
takes a while. That takes a while for the wheels to get spinning,
sure.
the creative juices to get flowing, and get things written, and then through the quality assurance
I
program and stuff like that. So
I think Dan is the right dude. If anything that he said is true, I think he's the dude to turn the ship around. I look forward to giving 5 stars across. I mean, I'm ready for it. I'm ready for WotC to not be the brand that everyone just assumes you're going to be negative about. We love the setting. We love Forgotten Realms. Like I told Dad this, like if you were to be like, hey, you can only play one setting or one tabletop game for the rest of your life, it has to be D&D and the Forgotten Realms. Has to be.
yep, yep,
I
100%.
don't care if it's 1 star or 100.
Yeah, I'm going to make a prediction right now, and some people have already made this, but I believe this is going to happen. There was talk a couple of years ago about Joe Manganiello being tied in to try to do a Kryn show, a
Mm-hmm.
Dragonlance show. That kind of died on the vine and kind of went away when one studio was sold by WotC. So that kind of went away, and I think Dan, one of the first things Dan did when he got his position, he brought Joe Manganiello, Tracy Hickman, and Margaret Wise into the WotC offices in Washington, brought them in, had them in a meeting, and I think what he was doing was he's bringing these people back in. You know, we've alienated these people. We alienated Wise and Hickman. We alienated Joe Manganiello. Now we're bringing them all back in, and all three of them are the driving forces behind Kryn.
Mm-hmm.
I think that if the Baldur's Gate show is a success, I think that you will very quickly see an announcement about a World of Kryn or a Dragonlance television show or an animated show. And I think Joe would be the perfect person to be behind it. Have Margaret Weiss, Tracy Hickman write the scripts. Have Joe be like your creative head because he loves that. He is about Kryn the way I am about the Forgotten Realms and the way Ed Greenwood is about the Forgotten Realms. He loves it. That's his playground. And I think that that would be the perfect group to have head up that project. So I'm thinking, quote me, you can quote me, if I'm thinking by 2028 we see a World of Dragonlance television show or cartoon of some kind.
That would be very cool. I hope that's true.
I'm hoping so, but we'll see. But anyway, we have rambled long enough. We appreciate you guys hanging with us as long as you did. We will have a copy of the aggregated scorecard up here for you guys to look at,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll have a link to it where we'll have it up on our website for you guys to look at if you're interested. Give us your feedback. Tell us your thoughts. Are we way off the mark? Were we unfair or were we overly zealous with some people's scores? Let us know what you think. We'd love to hear from you. Get your feedback. We appreciate your support hanging out with us. We are now up to 57 subscribers, so we're growing,
Nice.
slow but sure. So we thank those of you who are subscribers. We thank you for your likes. Share with your friends, share with your family. Let's get the word out there to the community that we're here and we are here for the community. So
Mm-hmm.
thank you all for your support. To quote my friend Jim over at the Old Wardlock, keep your sword on free. You're in the maze, so keep your torches lit
Mm-hmm.
and watch those corners as you're going around.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Bye,
Have a great
everybody.
evening.